Welcome back to computer science class. In the last video we discussed insertion and deleting an element, inserting and deleting an element to the array. In this video we discuss sorting the element. Here sorting is a process to arrange the array element. So here sorting is a process to arrange the array elements, in some order. Arrange the array elements in some order. Here some order means it may be ascending order or descending order. So the sorting is a process to arrange the array elements either ascending order or descending order. So in an array we have to implement many sorting technique. We have to implement a many sorting technique, but in your syllabus we have to discuss only insertion sort. There is a many sorting technique: bubble sort technique, selection sort technique, merging sort technique, but in your syllabus we have to discuss only insertion sort technique. It is a simple technique to sort the array elements. Assume that the array elements are 30, 20, 40, 50, 80. So these are the array elements, but the array elements are not sorted. See here, first one is 30, next one is 20, 40, 50, 80. So last three are sorted, but first two are not sorted. So in an insertion sort, first we have to assume that the first element is a sorted element. First element is a sorted element. We have to implement a insertion sort from one position to n minus 1, not 0. We assume that the first element is a sorted element. So we have to start sorting technique from second element to n minus 1 element. So we have to access each element from the unsorted list. So make it as a two portions. One is the sorted portion, another one is unsorted portion. Out of that, first one is the sorted portion. We have to pick the element from the unsorted portion. Then that element is compared with the sorted portion. See here, 20 is unsorted portion element, that is compared with the 30. If here 30 is greater than 20, 30 is greater than 20, hence the elements are become 20, 30, 40, 50 and 80. So this is the sorted portion, this one is the unsorted portion. Again we have to access the next element from the unsorted list. Then this element is compared with the sorted list. Here 40 is compared with the 30. So 40 is greater than 30, hence these elements become 20, 30, 40, 50 and 80. So this is the sorted portion, this one is the unsorted portion. Again we have to access the element from unsorted portion. Again it is compared with the sorted portion. Here 40 is less than 50, 40 is less than 50, hence the unsorted element is added to the sorted portion. So elements become 20, 30, 40, 50 and 80. This is the unsorted, these are the sorted portions. Like this we have to access the next element 80. Here 80 is greater than 50, 80 is greater than 50, hence all the elements are sorted. Then final sorted list is 20, 30, 40, 50 and 80. So this is the technique in insertion sort. I repeat what we done in an insertion sort. First we read the unsorted elements. Assume that the first element is a sorted element remainings are the unsorted elements. So first one is the sorted, remainings are the unsorted elements. Otherwise we make it as a two portion, one is the sorted portion, another one is the unsorted portion. We have to access a element from the unsorted portion, that element is compared with the sorting portion. If it is greater than, then element is inserted at the right side, otherwise element is inserted at the left side of the element. See here 20 is less than 30, hence the new element from the unsorted list is inserted to the left of the element, then the elements array becomes 20, 30, 40, 50 and 80. Then in the next iteration we have to access the next element from the unsorted portion. So 20, 30 are the sorted portion, 40, 50, 80 are the unsorted portion element. We have to access the element from unsorted portion, that is compared with the sorted portion element. First we have to compare with the 30, then we have to compare with the 20. But beginning itself 40 is greater than the 30, hence it is inserted at the right side of the element. So the sorted elements become 20, 30, 40, then unsorted are 50 and 80. Like this we have to access each element from the unsorted element. Those elements are compared with the sorted portion. If it is greater than, inserted at the beginning, otherwise compared with the next element. If it is greater than, inserted between that element. Like this we have to sort the element. For this consider one more example. (20), 15, 30, 10 and 5. So these are the elements. What we done in the insertion sort? First we make it as a two portions. One is the sorted, another one is the unsorted. We thought that 20 is a sorted element. Then we have to access the next element from the unsorted portion. So 15 is the key element from the unsorted portion. Then 15 is compared with the 20. So 20 is greater than 50, hence it is inserted before the 20. 15 is inserted before the 20. So elements are become 15, 20, 30, 10 and 5. So these are the unsorted, these are the 15 and 20 are the sorted, 30, 10, 5 are the unsorted. In the next iteration, we have to access the next element from the unsorted portion. So 30 is the key element, 30 is compared with the 20 and 15. So the 30 is greater than 20, hence it is inserted after the 20. So elements are become 15, 20, 30 are the sorted, 10 and 5 are unsorted. Next we have to access the element from the unsorted portion, 10. So 10 is compared with the 30, 10 is less than 30, so hence we have to compare with 20, 10 is also less than 20, then 10 is compared with the 15, so 10 is less than 15, hence 10 is inserted before the 15. See here, 10 is the key element, that is the element from the unsorted portion, that is compared with the 30. So 10 is less than 30, hence we compared 10 with 20. Again 10 is less than 20, hence compared with 15. Hence the 10 is also less than 15. Therefore the 10 is inserted before the 15. The elements are become 10, 15, 20, 30 and 5. So these are the sorted portion, 5 is a unsorted portion. Finally access 5 from unsorted portion. Again it is compared with the 30, 5 is less than 30, 5 is compared with the 20, again 5 is less than 20, 5 is compared with the 15, again 5 is less than 15, 5 is compared with the 10, again 5 is less than 10. Hence 5 is inserted above the 10. So the elements are 5, 10, 15, 20, 30. So all the elements are sorted. So this is the logic in insertion sort. Every time we have to pick the element from unsorted portion, that is the key element. Then key element is compared with the sorted portion element. If it is greater than inserted above the element, sorted element, if it is less than inserted before the sorted element. Like this we have to access all the elements. That is the logic in the insertion sort. Let's write a algorithm for insertion sort. Let's see the algorithm to sort array elements using insertion sort technique. Here we use two for loops. One is for accessing the unsorted elements, another is for accessing sorted array elements. Here we use a for loop because already we know the number of elements. See here, let A is a array, have n number of unsorted elements. So it is a preparation where A is a name of the array, have n number of unsorted elements. Let's see the steps. Step 1, beginning of the algorithm. Step 2, for I equals 1 to n minus 1. This is used to access unsorted elements. Again we use one more for loop for j equals I down to 1. See here, the index value I begins with 1 to n minus 1, but the index value j, it is also one of the for loop, j begins with I, then it is down to 1. So it is in a reverse order, initialize with I value down to 1, less than or equal to 1. Then every time we have to access array elements, then compare the array elements. How to compare? If a of j value is less than a of j minus 1 value, then see here what we done, we have to access the unsorted element. A of j holds the unsorted element, j minus 1 holds the sorted element. We have to compare A of j is less than A of j minus 1. Unsorted element is less than the sorted element, then we have to swap the numbers. How to swap? For that we use the temporary variable which is equal to A of j, then A of j which is equal to A of j minus 1, finally A of j minus 1 which is equal to 10. Okay, then and if and j for loop, then also and I for. In this step 3, stop or exit. This is a algorithm to sort the array elements. See here what we done, initialize I equals 1 to n minus 1. We have to access all the unsorted elements. We have to avoid the first element because we know that first element is a sorted element. See the for loop j. In a for loop j, it begins with I value. See here, if it is a elements 5, 2, 3, 1. These are the elements. So index value 0, 1, 2, 3. Here is an I. This one is an j. Okay. So initially both I and j are here. See here, I equals 1, start from unsorted portion to n minus 1, 3 is the n minus 1. Okay, then initialize j equals I, both j and I are the same, then down to 1. So it is moves like this, down to 1, because here we use j minus 1. If j value is 1, what is the value of j minus 1? It represents the 0. Here A of j represents 2, is less than j minus 1 represents the 0, that is 5. We have to compare 2 less than 5. 2 less than 5. If condition is true, 2 is less than 5, then condition is true, then we have to swap the numbers. After swapping, what happens? So 2, 5, 3, 1. These two numbers are swapped. So 5, 3, 5, okay. 2, 5, 3, 1 are the sorted elements. Then the j loop is incremented, but it returns false. Then I loop is incremented. Then I loop is incremented. Then I is access the next element, that is 3. Then j minus 1 means it is 5. Then compare 5 and 3. Here 3 is less than 5. Again we have to swap the numbers. So after swapping it becomes 2, 3, 5, 1. Then 1 is the sorted portion. Then we have to access the 1, then compare it to the 5. 1 is less than 5. 1 is less than 5. So condition returns false. Increase the j loop. Then we have to access 3. 3 is less than 5. Less than 1. Again condition false. 2. 2 is less than 1. So like this we have to access all the elements. Every time the swapping technology is implemented, we have to access all the elements from the unsorted portion, compare it to the sorting portion. If it is less than, then we have to swap the numbers. After that it becomes 2, 3, 1, 5. Again 1 is compared to the 3. 2, 1, 3, 5. Again 1 is compared to the 2. It becomes 1, 2, 3, 5. So all the elements are sorted. So if less than a of j minus 1, every time we have to swap the numbers. Already we know the swapping technique. We have to swap the numbers. Again j is incremented, j is decremented. Hence we have to access the next element, compare. Then if it is less than, swap the numbers. Again j is decremented, access the next element, compare, then swap. Like this we have to access all the sorted elements and also unsorted elements. So this is the algorithm for insertion sort. Let's write a program for insertion sort. Program to sort array elements using insertion sort. So include statements. Okay, write the include statements and main of the program. Here declare the variables and array. Here array is a of 20 elements. Variables are I, j, n and 10. So these are the variables required. After that CLR, SCR to clear screen, cout, enter how many elements. Enter how many elements. So Cin extraction n. First read the number of elements, then read the array elements. To read the array elements, insert output statement. Under that write enter array elements. To read array element, use for loop I equals 0, I less than n, I plus plus. Under that Cin extraction a of I. Read the array elements. Then these array elements are unsorted. Next insert a algorithm, insertion algorithm. To access the sorted elements, here for I equals 1, I less than n, I plus plus. See here we have to access the element from 1, not 0, because first element is sorted. Then inside that initialize j equals I, then j is greater than or equal to 1, j minus minus, because we have to access element unsorted from in a reverse order. So j equals I, j is greater than or equal to 1, greater than or equal to 1, j minus minus down to 1. We have to write algorithm in j down to 1. So after that compare that is if a of j is less than a of j minus 1, a of j less than a of j minus 1. What is the value of j? It is I value. What is the value of I? That is 1. We have to access first element, second element, and it is compared with the first element, 1 position and 0 position. First element and second elements are compared. If the second element is less than the first element, what is the meaning of j less than j minus 1? J represents the second element, j minus 1 represents the first element. If second element is less than first element, then swap the element. How to swap? Using a third variable, temp equals a of j equals a of j minus 1, then a of j minus 1, which is equal to temp. Using third variable, swap the elements, then close the j for loop, then close the I for loop. Carefully observe the brackets. After that, display the sorted elements. So see out sorted array elements. Sorted array elements are to print array elements. Again use for loop. Here it starts from 0, I less than n, I plus plus. See out array of n, index value I, move on to the next line, end line. Then get ch, close the program. It is a program to sort the array element using insertion sort. There is a lot of methods to sort a element, but here we discuss only insertion sort. It is also very important, the point of examination. So see here what we done. First we declare a local variables array index values. Here two index values I and j, number of elements using a n, then temporary variable temp. First we have to read the number of elements, also we read the array elements. Here array elements are unsorted. Using for loop, we have to access all the elements. Out of that, first element is a sorted element. We have to access from the second element and compare with the first element. If the second element is less than the first element, swap the numbers. Like this we have to access all the unsorted elements, also we have to access all the sorted elements. When the for loop terminates, both for loops are terminates, display the array values. So the finally array is sorted. So this is the insertion sort. Let's discuss two-dimensional array. In a one-dimensional array, we discuss what is one-dimensional array, features of one-dimensional array, operations to be performed on one-dimensional array. The operations are traversal, insertion, searching, sorting and merging. Except merging, we have to discuss all the operations on one-dimensional array. Now, two-dimensional array. Here array have two index values are called two-dimensional array. Array have two index. Array have two index values are two indexes. For example, integer of x of 2, 2. It is a example for two-dimensional array because array have two subscripts or two index values. Here the array have m number of rows and n number of columns, m rows and n columns. Here the first represents the number of rows, second index represents the number of columns. The matrix is a best example for two-dimensional array because the first index represents the rows, the second index represents the column. Generally we write it as m cross n. Here there is a 2 into 2 means there is a 2 cross 2 totally have 4 elements. These 4 elements are represented as 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1, 1. So these are the 4 elements. Here there is a 0, 1 rows, 0, 1 columns. So these are called rows, then these are the columns. These are the columns. Then the first element is 0, 0. How to write first element? First row, first column, first row, second column, second row, first column, then second row, second column. Like this we have to represent a memory for the two-dimensional array. So in an array it represents rows and columns. Say matrix definition is intersection of rows and columns is called matrix, or it is a collection of elements. Array is also collection of homogeneous elements. Here homogeneous means all elements share the same name and same data type, but if it is a two-dimensional means array have two index values or array have two subscripts. Out of two subscripts, first one represents the row, second one represents the column. Matrix is the best example for two-dimensional array. Then in a matrix, say rows are represented like this, then columns are above. To represent a memory location, first we write the row address, then we write the column address. See here 0, 0 means first one is the row, second one is the column. Here row, column, again first we write the row address, then we write the column address, again row address, column address. Like this we have to represent a array. Then discuss how to represent a memory for the two-dimensional array. To represent a memory for the two-dimensional array, there is a two methods. Memory representation of two-dimensional array. 2D refers two-dimensional array. There is a two methods to represent a memory. First one is row major order. Row major order. Second one is column major order. Row major order and column major order. These are the two methods to represent a memory for two-dimensional array, because two-dimensional array have rows and columns. In a row major order, first the first row elements are filled, then second row elements are filled, then third row elements are filled, like this. Then in a column major order, first column elements are first filled, then second column elements, then third column elements, so on. So that is the two methods, row major order and column major order. Let's discuss one by one in detail. Let A be the array. A be the array have m cross n elements. Have m cross n elements. Then in row major order, all first row elements, all first row elements are stored first, then second row elements, and so on. See here, in a row major order, all first row elements are stored first, then second row elements are stored, and so on. That is the row major order. Then if it is A is a array have m cross n elements, then using the following formula we have to access the location of element from row major order. That is, to access location of any element, LOC, location of any element, that is A of ij, location of A of ij. The following formula is to access location of ij, formula is, that is location of A of ij, which is equal to base address of A, base address of an array, plus w of n into I minus 1 plus j minus 1. So this is the formula to access a location of any element if it is follows row major order, where A is a array have m cross n elements. In formula, A is a name of the array have m cross n elements, that is m number of rows and the number of columns. Base of A is a base address. It is a base address of given array. Base address of given array. W is a word length. It is a word length. It is the data type. Then I and j are the index. If it is follows row major order, then to find the address of an given element, this is the formula. Formula is location of A of ij, which is equal to base address of the array. Here base address means starting address of the array plus word length. Word length depends on the data type. If it is integer, word length is 2 bytes. If it is character, word length is 1 byte. If it is float, word length is 4 bytes. That is the W. Then n and m are the matrix orders. M number of rows, n number of columns. I and j are the index. Using this formula, we have to access the location of the element if the matrix follows row major order. Then discuss the column major order. If it is in a column major order, then the formula is different. Let A be the array have m cross n elements. Then in column major order, first column elements are stored in sequential memory location. Then second second column elements, and so on, and so on. In a column major order, first column elements are stored in a sequential memory location, then second column elements are stored in a sequential memory location, and third column elements are stored in a sequential memory location, so on. If it is follows column major order, and following is the formula to access a location of the element. That formula is location of A of ij. Here ij means any element from the column major order which is equal to base address of given array, that is the starting address of given array, plus word length of I minus 1 plus m of j minus 1. See the difference. In a row major order, that is n into I minus 1, but here it is m into j minus 1. The order is m cross n. See the correction. The order is m cross n. This is the formula to access the address of an element, address of a given element, if the array follows column major order, where A is a array, have m cross n elements, base of A is a base address of array, given array. W is a word length, it is a word length or size of the data type. Then I and J are index. So this is the formula to access a address of the element in column major order. So these are the two concepts in two-dimensional array. In a two-dimensional array have two index values. To represent a memory for the two-dimensional array, either we follow row major order or column major order. If it is in a row major order, means first row elements are arranged sequential memory location, then second row elements, and so on. In a column major order, first column elements are stored in a sequential memory location, then second column elements, then third column element, so on. So like this the memories are allotted. Then we also discuss the formula in row major order and column major order. Let's see the advantages and disadvantages of array and also applications of array. Let's see the advantages of array. The first advantage is array is used to represent multiple data elements. The meaning of the multiple data elements means it is used to represent a group of elements. That is the main advantage of array. Second one is array is used to represent other data structures. Here other data structure means stack, queue, linked list, etc. Arrays are used to represent other data structure. Then third one, two-dimensional array. 2D arrays are used to represent vectors. It is used to represent vectors. So these are the advantages of array. First one is it is a homogeneous collection of elements, represent a multiple data elements. Then array is used to represent other data structures like stack, queue, linked list. Then it is used to represent a vectors. Then disadvantages. Disadvantages of array. The first disadvantage of array is we must know the number of elements in advance. We must know the number of elements in advance. Then array is a fixed size. Array is a fixed size and length. Fixed size and length. Then third one is insertion and deletion is difficult. In an array, inserting an element, deleting an element is difficult because all elements are stored in sequential memory or consecutive memory. All elements are stored in a consecutive memory or sequential memory. Hence, insertion and deletion of an element is time consuming. It takes more time, or sometimes it is difficult to insert and deleting an element. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of array. In a disadvantage, we must know the number of elements in advance. How many elements are grouped, that we must know in advance. Then array is a fixed size. It is a static memory location. Array is a static. Here the meaning of the static means once we declare a array in declaration section, that is cannot be altered throughout the program. That is the meaning of array is a fixed size and length. It is a static. Then third one is insertion and deletion of an element is difficult in array because all array elements are stored in a sequential memory location. Hence, insertion and deletion of an element is difficult. So these are the advantages and disadvantages. Let's see the applications of array. Let's see the applications of array. The first application of the array is used to implement other data structures. It is used to implement other data structure. Then second one is arrays are used to implement vectors and matrix. Used to implement vectors and matrix. Third one is sometime one dimensional array. Sometime one dimensional array is used to develop a database. So these are the applications of array. The first one is it is used to implement other data structure. Other data structure means stack, queue, linked list. These are discussed in the next lessons. Then the second one is arrays are used to implement vectors and matrices. Two-dimensional arrays are used to represent a matrices, then also used to represent a vectors. Then sometimes one-dimensional arrays are used to develop a database. Here database is a collection of logically related data. To develop a database, sometimes we use arrays, because in an array elements are stored sequential memory location. That is the advantage to develop a database. So these are the concepts in array. In the next video we discuss a other data structure, that is stack. Thank you.